for one's friends. Every person who's ever served in the military has been willing to do this, to lay down her or his life. In this series, No Greater Love, we're considering the life and the example of a few men and women who have served God and country in the military with spiritual fortitude and courage. There are more pastoral ministries and apostolic works under the patronage of St. Francis of Assisi than any other saint. He's a popular go-to saint for people of all faith traditions. The St. Francis prayer Canticle of the Sun endears him to animal lovers, environmentalists, advocates for the poor, and outdoorsmen. Pope Francis chose this title of his encyclical on caring for the planet and each other. The title comes from St. Francis' Canticle. And this patron saint of the environment got his start from an unsuccessful military campaign. Indulged him until he relinquished all his worldly goods in service to the poor. In the early 13th century, Francis joined the military attack in central Italy. The battle was fierce, bloody, and most of his fellow soldiers were killed immediately. But Francis's expensive clothing made him a right target to be held for ransom instead of being killed. Francis was taken captive and spent a year as prisoner of war until his family paid the negotiation. During his extended prison stay in a cave-like cell, Francis became sick and experienced visions from God. These visions, some regard Francis as a madman, but his service to the poor and building up of the church inspires people to serve rather than be served to this day. From the time of Francis's release, he was a changed man. He devoted himself to working with the less fortunate and spending time in silent prayer. It was during quiet prayer that he heard Jesus asking him to rebuild my church. To accomplish this, Francis took an expensive bolt of cloth and a horse from his father's shop. As you might imagine, this did not go well for his father, even though Francis, even to animals. We celebrate his feast on the 4th. Many parishes observe feasts outdoors with the blessing of animals or perhaps an outdoor liturgy. How fitting for this lover of nature. One cannot speak of Francis without also speaking of Clare of Assisi. Like many of us in the military, our sisters, mothers, aunts support and advocate for us. Additionally, women serve in many military capacities. Clare was a devoted follower of Francis, and with his help established the Poor Clares, following a strict rule of behavior and prayer practices. To be sure, there were rumors in the community about their relationship, but Clare and Francis held steadfast, and their integrity and faithfulness spoke for itself, dispelling any rumors. This is important to remember as we go about our lives. We can address challenges to our service and duty by our authenticity. It's a powerful witness for all. Francis brought together his love of animals and for the nativity in creating the first nativity scene. The creche is a visible reminder of the incarnation and of the way we celebrate all of creation. Francis's prayer life and practices make him a perfect example of both the spiritual and corporal works of mercy. St. Francis showed great love in his life, and we make his prayer our own. Lord, make us instruments of your peace.